peacefully. He fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk, and when he's convicted, the guards will strap him to a chair, placing a paper target over his heart. Then, 5 volunteer officers will load their rifles with special rounds and aim them through a tiny hole in the prison wall. And when they fire, 5 fragmenting bullets will shatter upon impact, tearing the victim's heart instantly. And because the shooters are kept anonymous, everyone can sleep peacefully. He fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk.
Learning and believing. I'm that Phil Kanaka coming at you once again with another lesson, Lord's will, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, says, and edifying and exhorting. Right here to feed the sheep of Yahweh Shem Shai. And as you can see here, this video. And that's what you call a firing squad, right?
And when he's convicted, the guards will strap him to a chair, placing a paper target over his heart. Then, 5 volunteer officers will load their rifles with special rounds and aim them through a tiny hole in the prison wall. And when they
the door for this type
fire,
of behavior.
5 fragmenting bullets will shatter.
Here it is, this Captain Kirk, you know, it's a code name. He was, you know, unalived, you know, to the public eye. You know, who knows? But the point being, now you see videos like this, right? And this is not far-fetched. I mean, you can read some of the comments. I never heard someone F up information so badly. The fact that they are volunteers is mind-blowing yet genius. This execution is absolutely genius. All right. So you see it. But the point being, this is what they call a firing squad. Okay. And let's go real quick to these AI overview. And I typed in why was a firing squad done away with. Okay. So firing squads were largely discontinued in the late 20th century because they were viewed as barbaric and gruesome compared to the perceived more humane method of lethal injection. So keep in word. Viewed as barbaric and gruesome. All right. So it says more humane method of lethal injection, which becomes a dominant execution method in the 1980s. The swift away from firing squads also stemmed from a desire to distance state-sanctioned violence from the lawless violence of the criminal, as guns were also commonly used by criminals. Reasons for the shift of lethal injection perception of humanity. Firing squads are seen as bloody and violent method. Again, bloody and violent method. While lethal injection was initially considered a more civilized and less agonizing alternative. Okay, aesthetic values. Aesthetic of execution change, moving away from raw violence of a firing squad towards a more sterile and clinical procedure. Okay. So the point was, this is barbaric and gruesome. Okay. And then you watching them, the time period of these movies where, you know, this shit was, as they say, barbaric and gruesome, man. All right. Is violent, raw violence, like people just being lined up, make you think of certain time periods. But hey, we're entering to that time period, right? The trouble, you know, time of Jacob's trouble, as the scriptures prescribed it as. So, when you just type up, because I remember a certain senator somewhere was talking about bringing back the firing squad. So here it is, bringing back firing squad. I typed in for execution, right? Again, it says recent legal challenges to lethal injection drugs have led some U.S. states to reauthorize the use of firing squads as an alternative method of execution. So we're going back to that barbaric or violent state. Okay? So you see the times we're entering to. They said they did away with it because it was barbaric and violent. But, you know, recent as it says, it says U.S. states to reauthorize the use of firing squads. All right. So death by firing squads set to resume in the U.S. So this is March 6, 2025. So this was this year. All right. And as you can see, Trump is handling things more militarily now. Okay, so you see the times we're going into. Draconian times. All right. Communism, so on and so forth, things like that. All right, where all your rights and your liberties are being taken away, to where there's rumors of basically now, it's being viewed as, if they say you a terror or whatever, a terrorist, basically you have no right to, what is court, so to say. All right, appearing in court, your rights, they deem you as a T word, then you're done, basically. All right, and that falls under this term here, summary execution. It says summary execution is a arbitrary deprivation of life by government or military authority, or with its complicity, without a full and fair trial or legal process. So usually, do the legal processing, but it's not going to be none of that in the times we're coming to. So it is widely considered legal under both international and national law, violating fundamental human rights due to process in life. Such executions can occur without a judicial sentence or in a summary trial that lacks the minimum procedural guarantees required by international law, such as those outlined in the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Key characteristics: no legal process. The most crucial aspect is the absence of a legitimate legal process, such as a conviction by a competent court, offering essential guarantees of independence and impartiality. Forgive me for that. But you see it, all right? So we're heading in that way, so people just sitting saying, oh, we'll never see that coming. But here it is. Certain legislation has been passed to where, all right, now something that was gruesome, all right, or violent way of punishing someone is now legal now in certain states. And remember, once it happened in one, is that opens the door for it all. So when you hear about the punishment that this guy received for unaliving Captain Kirk, right? It's just setting the stage for, all right, this to be normalized, okay? And nobody's going to speak against it because everybody's just caught up in that psyop, justice for Captain Kirk, okay? Then, as you can see here, these were volunteers. People volunteer. According to this video, anonymous can sleep peacefully. All right. So, man, the times we coming to where people could just apply to basically
and because the shooters are kept anonymous,
Trump's little everyone
can sleep peacefully.
ICE program, Department of War, fill out application. Well, what that is? That's the mercenaries, man. All right, and they're not operating under American law and American rules. All right, these are so-called deemed national emergencies, martial law, warlike law, man. In the time of war, so this is a time we in where the government is being used, the military is being used, Salakia, all right, to bring forth order. All right, and I just watched this video. Well, not watched it, but I saw this. Patrick Humphrey warning troops deployed to multiple U.S. cities. Something big is happening. So this is how, if you can't see the direction we're going into, all right, they don't know what to tell you. Firing squad is being brought back. Military
federal authorities,
all over the country. All right, we're under a police state, man. It's St. Matthew. It's like in Revelation 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and the beast is representation of metaphor for an empire. All right, a kingdom. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb. And those two horns represent the two political parties. All right, Republic and Democrat. Same way the Romans, they had a Senate. The plebeians and patricians, and he spake as a dragon. That dragon is this draconian ways. Dracon. Serpent name for Satan. Fabulous. Dracon. All right. See if so you get the word Draco, right? Harsh. Bring it up. Sometimes you gotta dig for it. See, Draco, pistols. All right. Sorry, meaning. That's like Draco meaning. Yep, dragon, a serpent. Here we go. Draco's a word from Latin and Greek origin. All right, which the Bible is translated from the Hebrew and the Greek. All right, so it says dragon in Latin, delivering from the Greek word dracon. See, yep, same word, which also means dragon or serpent. The term can refer to a constellation of genus of flying lizards of the ancient Athenian legislator Draco, whose harsh laws, all right, gave rise to adjective draconian. See? So his harsh laws, right? So you see these harsh laws being passed. For this being one of them, bringing back the firing squad, death by firing squad, which was what deemed, all right, viewed as barbaric or gruesome. So you see the times we're coming in. You see the direction America is heading in. All right. So you've been warned, man. Military being deployed all over the world. All over the country. All right. Troops. It's martial law, man. It says, and he exercised all power of the first beast before him, which was the Roman Empire. All right. That's why America is exercising all that authority and power of the beast that was before him. It says, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. All right. Because Rome fell, but Rome came back, right, through Babylon the Great, aka America. Right. This is just Rome all over again. It says, and he doth the great wonder, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of the men. And that's his missile technology. All right, making fire come down from the heavens, meaning the skies. Okay, you saw that when he dropped that bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now he has rockets that now those weapons can self-propel themselves. They no longer need a plane to drop them off. But that's ultimately what that's talking about. All right, making fire come down from heaven. Great wonders. You see it. The main point was verse 11. I beheld another beast coming up out of earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. All right, so he come humble and meek. You got the right to vote. You can vote this and vote that. But he spake as a dragon, his draconian laws. All right, his harsh laws that's being passed. Okay, and that's basically what's happening. Trump is locking this place down. Yeah, we know he's taking orders, but he's locking this place down, man. Some harsh laws on all your liberties. Those things are getting ready to disappear. Free speech. All right, cracking down on free speech. You can't say what you want. All right, you can't speak. You can't even speak out against certain people now. All right, Captain Kirk. You know, you're losing your job and so on and so forth. So what happened to free speech? All right. So these events are being used to take away your rights. It's Jeremiah 30, verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So the elect is going to be saved from these times. All right. But the Lord is letting us know the times we're entering into. All right. Times like no other. Is St. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was there never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." So, you know, you see it. You know, people can say, "Oh, it's never going to happen," but these things are happening, man. All right. These harsh laws are being passed, so to say. People are being detained without proper legal processing. Just like when they saw that boat supposedly coming from Venezuela. All right, what they didn't seize the boat and give these arrest these people and go through the legal process. No, they just saw the boat, and what they did, they executed those people right there on the spot. And like people were saying, when do we ever do that, right? He's smuggling drugs. You take him, you arrest him, you seize the boat, and you go through the legal processing. What he did, he just blew him up, man. All right. So this is that cruel Lord, all right, that the scriptures speak about, and Trump fits the tab, so to say. Isaiah 19:4, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord." All right. "And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts." In modern day Egyptians, it's talking about Americans. Okay. So, and this is what's going to spike that civil war. Matter of fact, I'm going to start from the top and we'll read verse 4 again and we'll close it out. Isaiah 19, verse 1, "The burden of Egypt." Now, Egypt is code for America. Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, prove that the Bible speaks of a place which is spiritually Egypt, all right, and Sodom and Gomorrah. "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud." And that swift cloud is that spaceship, all right, a chariot, what they call a UFO. That's how the Lord is returning. All right. "And shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of the Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." All right. So the gods they worship, because America is fully in tune with worshiping those ancient deities. All right. Sunday sun worship. You see the all-seeing eye on the back of the pyramid. All right. So their society is encrypted, all right, with these ancient deities that they worship. You see the Washington Monument. All right. That goes back to Egypt. That's the obelix, if you pronounce it. It's verse 2, "And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian," that's civil war. All right, brother against brother. "And they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof." And that's what's happening to America. The spirit of this place is failing. All right, nobody trusts in the system. Nobody believes it. Everybody's tired. All right, the American dream, that's all gone. Okay, it says in the midst thereof, "And I will destroy the counsel thereof, And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So that cruel Lord. All right, so that's pretty much it. You know, Lord willing, is that a fine, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Till next time, say shalom to the elect.